Hello, everyone. Kae Wagner here, North Star Marketing, and I am interviewing one of the best book author helpers. I'm not sure how she's going to clarify who she is, but we are here with the Success Spotlight today. And I want to welcome Yvonne DiVita. And so welcome to the Success Spotlight. It's so good to have you here.
Well, Kay, thank you so much. I am so delighted to be here. I really am. Today, I'm having such a marvelous Friday, and this is just making it even over the top marvelous for me.
Awesome. Awesome. And I must say, Yvonne, you look absolutely stunning today.
Well, thank you.
I love the purple hair. So beautiful. So much fun. So anyway, let's get right to it because our viewers love to know about success. And you are in the spotlight today. So let's start with actually talking about your success. What is your success as you would define it today?
I think my success is in the fact that I have been able to connect with, make friends with, and build relationships with hundreds and hundreds of smart, talented women who have stories that I am passionate about helping them share. This is what my whole purpose is about. The fact that when I was a publisher, I worked with women authors. When I was a co-founder of a growing and popular influencer network, it was mostly women. So we could help them be better at what they did and make money with their online content. And that's my success, is that I am still connected to all of these people. Many of them I call friend, and many of them have become clients for me because I built the relationships.
So that's really an awesome position to be in, where you have been able to bring together your true passion combined with your really deep industry experience. And now you're working with actually the ideal client of choice, right?
Absolutely, absolutely. And the here's a really interesting thing about my life and my successes is, generally speaking, people seek me out. I guess I am blessed. 9 out of 10 of my clients sought me out. I did not spend a lot of time running around chasing after, hot air balloons. But the reason they did that is because I was out there talking and sharing and meeting and being visible.
Right, right. And so in the success spotlight, we find over and over again that that is one of the key things to success, is being in the spotlight. And you can't shrink from the spotlight. And I always say, when you're in the hot glare of the spotlight, that's when you need to shine, right? That's really when you need to bring it all before.
I tell people, we've got to get rid of and shrug off that goody two-shoes thing that you grew up with, because we all, as young women, for the most part, and some men too that I've met, we were taught that you shouldn't talk too much about yourself. Don't be too braggy, be quiet. And I'm like, no. You can still be a wonderful, humble person while you're telling people and sharing your talents, because that's the magic of what we do. It's in our sharing of our talents.
Right. So I know we're going to talk about, the specifics of what you do, and you have a special offer for our viewers as well. But with every story of success, I also know that there's a backstory of struggle. There's a backstory of it wasn't always perfect. There's a backstory of transitioning from being in the publishing world as you were being an executive, being in the hub of business, and publishing is a huge industry and a vibrant industry. And so then you had a transition as well, right? And So tell our viewers, tell our people kind of what your struggles have been, and how did you overcome those? What was your transition? And it may not have been, a deep, dark story of despair. I'm not looking for that. I'm just looking to say we all go through some struggles. We know that.
I think one of the major things that most people struggle with, and I did also, was how to make money in those early days.
Right.
So even with our publishing company, we were fortunate. We got a loan from a bank, and wow, I was so proud of that. But when the 2 years went by that it was interest only, and I started having to pay off the principal,
Right.
I was like in shock.
Mhm.
And why was I in shock? Because I hadn't paid attention.
Okay.
I hadn't done my due diligence to be ahead of that issue. Now, we made it work. We went out and got more clients, but it was scary. It was like, what's going to happen to my business now?
Right.
And then we pivoted to the influencer network that was similar but different, because now what we were going to do, and this is my husband and I, and at that time my daughter was on board, we decided to have a conference and invite people to come to the conference, and we had to get speakers and we had to get a venue, and it was going to be pet friendly and all this, and we had no clue.
Yeah.
I mean, we sat there looking at each other like, how do we do this? What needs to happen here? I'm a writer. My part in this is to get the speakers, because I know a lot of people. They can come and teach people how to be better writers, better photographers and all that. I can do that, but what about all this other stuff? Well, we got an event planner.
Okay.
And that was the best thing we ever did. And we did 10 conferences. The business grew. It was acquired by a Fortune 500 company. And, that's when I retired. And I pivoted back to my working with women authors. And there was a big struggle there, because I was known at that point as the BlogPaws co-founder. I was no longer known as the woman who did publishing and worked with authors.
Yeah.
And it was a bit of a struggle there to finally get people over that hurdle to stop looking at me as this person and start looking at me as this person. And I did it by being just consistent, by being purposeful. I do not and have not shed that wonderful experience of BlogPaws and everything that happened there. I look at it as a learning experience, and having been able now to expand my horizons and understand more about the online influencer community world. And at this point, I have, after a couple years of very consistent and focused work, now people are looking at me again as the publisher, writer, author, mentor, nurturing big ideas, mentors and guides, and helps you become successful as a book author or a new business professional.
Right. And so, what I kind of read between the lines there, Yvonne, is that some of the things that you did that made you successful early on, and then with your influencer network and with the publishing work, things that made you visible in one category defined your personal brand or your brand, so to speak. And so then you had to create another brand in another community or another network, right?
Yeah.
And
And
there
people,
again, that's just being visible, but in a different network.
it is, but it's also understanding your strengths and talents, and then how to bring them to the world. Because when I first went back to my my roots, I say, which are in the publishing and writing and authorship world, I was one company. I said, well, this is the company. Well, it didn't take me too long to figure out this wasn't working.
Mm.
There's the new thing I had built, this wasn't working. So I pivoted again. And I said, now I'm going to reinvent this to be something else. And that's one of the keys is I tell people, you can rebrand yourself and reinvent yourself. You just have to do it the right way. You can't just willy-nilly go off and change things and expect people to follow you. You have to be very conscious of it. And that's what I was. And so what happened is it brought me to nurturing big ideas. And I'm very happy here.
Yes, yes. And I think you've nurtured a lot of big ideas, haven't you?
Yes.
I am so so impressed with all of that. So let's talk about, so you have now done these pivots and you have found your grounding, so to speak. So share with our viewers, what are some of your 3 key insights into success? What would you recommend or advise people? Particularly when you look at your line of nurturing big ideas with old dog learning, I think you wrote down. So I'm curious about that too.
So Old Dog Learning is my husband's company.
Oh, okay.
But we are the Tom and Yvonne show because I help him do what he does and he helps me do what I do. And so that's one of the things that I tell people. It has been a big success. It was also a success in my other businesses is you find a partner. And it doesn't have to be someone who's going to do the business with you if that's not where you want to be. It could be a mentor. It can be someone that you have access to, that you can talk to and share questions and worries and concerns. It's just someone else that's going to be there with you and for you. It is so hard to do things all by yourself, and you don't have to. So that's number 1. Number 2 is to build those relationships. Be very conscious when you meet someone to listen to them, to take the pause. I try to teach people to pause because when we pause, we hear so many more wonderful things. And you can be the mentor to that person sometimes. You can build the relationships. Never forget that I like to talk about neighborhoods. So work in your own neighborhood because all the people in your neighborhood know people in somebody else's neighborhood who knows people in somebody else's neighborhood. And that's how you build things out. Start in your own little neighborhood. And then number 3, it's almost a cliche, but it is so true. Don't ever give up. Don't ever give up. Here's the thing. If you're at a point where money's a little tight, this is when I say you need to be creative. Seriously sit down and list all your talents and everything you do well and figure out which one of those you can build something else off of to bring in some extra money. And maybe the big passion thing goes on the back burner for a little while. We all have to pay our bills, and you're not going to make that passion business work if you're worried about paying your bills. But you still have talent. Bring the talent that you have to the forefront, make something from it. And by gosh, I bet you'll learn something really important that's going to influence your passion business going forward.
Right. That's so wise. That's so wise. And Yvonne, some people would see that as failure.
No.
But it's really like giving yourself some space to breathe.
Yes.
Like a pressure valve, you just sometimes, and because really creating a brand, as you can't just do it overnight.
No.
You need time for it to incubate, for it to grow. And so that is so wise. So I think that you have an offer or a way that people can engage with you, because I would love for people to be able to talk with you and see what you do and explore it, because I love storytelling. Right.
Well, and here's the thing. So many people have a story and they don't know how to tell it.
Right.
And I'm discovering that a lot of women have content that they have created over the last few years that I can help them turn into a book.
Good.
So my offer is called capability coaching.
Okay.
And in my capability coaching, I bring my expertise on board to help you figure out what you're going to build this book or a business, because a book is a business, by the way. When you write a book, you are building another small business. So everything I do is relevant to building a small business. So in my coaching, I meet once a month with you, one-on-one. We have exchanges, email in between. You will be part of a private Facebook group where there will be peer learning with other people who are going through the same thing. And, you know, this is where I'm going to be focused in 2021. And it's going to be a small group. I'm only taking 20.
Oh, okay. So listen up, my friends, because I know those seats are going to fill and you want to be in that group and be able, I mean, so the thing about writing is writing can be you write in isolation often, right?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
But to have the support of your group, Yvonne, would be
Yep.
so much more freeing, I think, and obviously supportive as well.
And accountability. I mean, that's a big thing that people are saying is if I had someone keeping me accountable.
Yes.
And so the one-on-one that I offer not only keeps you accountable, but I am going to help you with the insight I have into, well, why are you struggling? What is the actual through line of your story? And so through line means what is the message that's carrying all the way through? And are you being true to that message? And I will even look at a chapter and do some of my developmental editing, because the developmental editing program I have for a complete book is entirely separate than the capability coaching. That's where I work with the authors one-on-one from first page to last page, and they get a completely professionally done book document.
Oh, so that's fabulous as well, because some people, I mean, we are all at different levels in terms of writing. So some people are getting started, some people have something completed, but it's not really ready for the market yet. So you can
right, because when this is where my husband comes in, he does the cover design and he does the interior page layout design. People don't understand. There's a design to every interior. You look at books and they're all different on the inside. Why? Because that was a design choice. The font is part of your design. The running headers are part of your design. Does your book have an index? These are all things that I work with you on in the one-on-one developmental coaching program. But the capability coaching is where I advise you on some of those things. And I direct you to places where you can get information, including my own site where we have books on most of those things.
Okay, good. And what is the best way for people to reach you?
They should email me at Yvonne, my first name, and then YvonneDiVita.com.
Okay, good. All right, great. So when I send out this video to everybody, Yvonne, I'll include that in my text as well, in my copy. So thank you, Yvonne, for sharing all of that with us. I think that our viewers can really now have a good starting point to take those stories that they know are inside of them and actually bring them out into the world, which I know that many of the people who are watching this video want to do. We have
one thing I do want to impress upon people, when you tell your story, you inspire others to achievement. The story you tell and the book you write will transform someone's life.
Isn't that a beautiful gift? Yeah. So I have one last question for you, Yvonne. So we are in the success spotlight. We all achieve, we reach success, and we aspire to more success and achievement, right? So my last question for you is this. Who is the success person or persona that you would most want to emulate and why?
Wow. So I'm going to say Harriet Beecher Stowe.
Oh, awesome.
She wrote Uncle Tom's Cabin, and she's purported to have been the little woman that started the Civil War. This is not a proven quote, but people say that President Lincoln met with her and said that. But the reason that I really feel strongly is one of her sayings that I share all the time is that women are the real architects of society. And so this is a little woman. She was a tiny little woman in the 1800s. And what did she do? She went out and made a name for herself as a writer. Mm-hmm. And that was not done back in that day. She was also a mother and a wife, and she didn't neglect those duties. She wanted to be this person who used her voice for good. And so the stories and the novels she wrote really did change society. So man, she's someone I admire greatly. And if I can do even a tiny bit of what she's done, that would make me so proud.
That is awesome, Yvonne. I love that. And for me, what that shows is the power of the written word.
Yes.
The power to transform, the power to impact, mm-hmm. the power to inspire.
Yes.
And Yvonne, you have inspired me today. And so I really need to start that next book, I think.
I think so too.
I think I should. Okay, Yvonne, I'm going to broadcast you out to the world. And to my viewers, to my friends here, I just want to thank you for being here with Yvonne DiVita and me, losing my voice. I'm Kae Wagner with North Star Marketing, and we are just wrapping up Success Spotlight with Yvonne DiVita, and I hope to see you soon.
Cool.